and letting the rope go. I know Indiana feels the type of way, but you have to find some positives in that game.
Let me just get into that really quickly for 1 second. You're still playing. You were in the league so recently. Like, home court advantage in this postseason, it feels like, not just in this series where the home teams are 0-3, but just in general, feels like it means almost nothing. The Knicks are, what did we say? They're 6-1 now on the road in the playoffs. So when we say they still have home court advantage, does that still mean something?
In hindsight, yes. But this year and a few years now, we had this conversation yesterday. It's no great teams anymore, right? Like, anything can happen in these playoffs. As you've seen, the Boston Celtics were the best team, right? Like, they were the greatest team. They were up 20 twice and lost those leads. So as of now, anything can happen, Greeny. I'm not sold on any team in this playoffs.
Jay Will, the Pacers are a 2.5-point favorite in Game 4. In your opinion, which team has more pressure to win tomorrow night's Game 4?
I think the Knicks do. I mean, look, this is the Pacers team that has lost Game 3 of the last 2 series. They did it against the Bucks and they did it against the Cavs, right? So this is familiar territory for them. And also, like, look, the Knicks have gone through 3 grueling series, this being their 3rd. Obviously, Detroit was very physical. Boston was a mentally taxing series. And now to enter this with Jalen Brunson being in foul trouble, him being hunted, Cat having the big impact game, I think all the pressure is on the Knicks. You can't afford to go back to MSG, a place in which you're 3-5, being down 3-1.
There's no question that you have to keep winning games here because they have to make up for both games at home. You could say that this win was sort of the one that got Game 1 back because it was a similar situation. The Knicks had the big lead, blew it, lost the game. And the Pacers had the big lead, blew it, lost the game. So you could say, okay, you've made up for that Game 1, but you still got to get another one to bring it back, and then you have back control of the series. The Knicks have kind of gone through a transformation in this series. They went from the team that came into it thinking this is how we play, and the Pacers showed them you shouldn't play like that because we have an answer for everything. They have been transforming, and so we have to see now if this latest, what they did in the second half of Game 3, works now for the rest of the series, especially in Game 4.
And there was an interesting observation that Charles Barkley made last night after the game. The Knicks they made their run last night with Karl Anthony Towns going, as you said, out of his mind in the 4th quarter, and Jalen Brunson, for the most part, on the bench with foul trouble. And here were what Charles Barkley had to say after the game.
I'm hoping this is a wake-up call for Brunson. Like, yo, man, you're going to have to get off the ball. They've had their 2 best spurts in this series, Game 1 and today. They've had their best while everybody's getting involved. He has to learn from that and get off the ball a little bit more.
That's an interesting observation for a guy in Jalen Brunson who was 2nd-team All-NBA this year and has been so beloved, certainly here. And so what, Jay Will, I mean, as a guy whose job it was to have the ball in your hands, what do you make of that from Chuck?
I mean, you can ask the guys on set. I mean, look, I'm not taking Jalen Brunson and putting him off the ball. I mean, the guy is dynamic, and where he's been brilliant is being on the ball and controlling the pace of the game. I definitely like having Deuce McBride and Landry Shamet and spelling him minutes, but I like the way Jalen Brunson has been playing. Also something else that Greeny nobody's really talked about yet is that Aaron Naismith hurt his ankle in the end of that 3rd quarter. That was a huge momentum swing. There's a quick turnaround for him with 48 hours to get back on the court, but he is their defensive stopper. Will he be available to go in Game 4 is going to be a critical question for how Indiana likes to play, not just pace-wise, but also defensively. Not only did he make huge threes in Game 1, but defensively, he's been the guy guarding Jalen Brunson each and every possession.
So is Jalen Brunson a liability in this series? This is obviously a huge, that's a very, very strong way to put what is a more nuanced point, which is Jalen Brunson playing with the ball in his hands at all times. And he tends to dribble the shot clock down, sort of probe, right, find a spot, make a play. And so what Charles is suggesting is that maybe if the ball is flowing a little bit more.
I think Charles is missing the point. And you guys can tell me if I'm wrong. What he's missing is that when the runs happen with Brunson off the court, that should be more a sign that Tom Thibodeau needs to start trusting the bench more and giving guys off the bench more, because the Pacers have played a lot of guys off the bench, because Jalen Brunson, last I checked, in the first 2 games has scored the most points of any player in the conference finals since LeBron James in 2009. He is getting his offense, he's getting to his spots, and he is scoring. The problem is when you don't play enough bench guys, he wears down, some other players wears down. But you need to get production off your bench. You need to get defense off your bench. And that's what you're learning when he is on the bench, is that you're getting guys coming in and making a difference. They got to lean on them more.
Well, how about that idea? The idea that perhaps when the ball, that's what Charles Barkley is saying, to be clear, is that when the ball is moving and everyone gets a little more involved, the Knicks are one of those teams, and there certainly feels like half the NBA does this, where they play ISO, they have one guy who's just going to try and make his play, draw the defense, and then either make the right pass or make the shot. He's suggesting that maybe if the ball is moving a little bit more, it benefits the Knicks offensively. It looked like it did last night.
I mean, to Chuck's point, I get what he's saying as a team. They went on runs with Jalen Brunson on the bench, right? The pace kind of picked up. But it doesn't make sense. Jalen Brunson has been in this position. He's the reason why they even in the conference finals, right? And also, these guys have been playing together. He knows when he needs to get off the ball. Jalen Brunson's a really smart player, really educated player. The guys, the 5 guys around him, they all get their shots. Let's just talk about Cat. I don't think this had anything to do with Jalen Brunson. Cat had a dominant performance in the fourth quarter, and he had to do it with Jalen Brunson on the bench. But Jalen Brunson is a plus for the Knicks at any time. I don't think he holds the ball too much. I think they need him to be super aggressive to even stay in half of these games.
Yeah, and clearly, Jalen Brunson is the most important player on the team by a wide margin. The question is whether there were certain things around the margins that they're able to figure out. Let me mention that we got Game 4 of what is all of a sudden a series in the West tonight. You got SGA and the Thunder. You got Ant-Man and the Timberwolves. What a blowout that was on Saturday night. We got the action 8:30 Eastern. ESPN2 will have the Insight Cast with avatar shot charts, virtual 3D replays, and immersive analysis. Countdown Crew tips off our coverage at 7:30 Eastern. By the way, I want to show you guys a little something here, okay? So, the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles, they were hooping. That's Cooper DeJean.
Cool.
You see that? That's Saquon Barkley throwing it up, and that is Cooper DeJean throwing it down. So a spectacular play, but hold on.
Pass is nice.
Who did it better? Cooper DeJean or our very own Alan Hahn is outside hooping.
53 years old.
Guys, come on, can I get a little read here?
And I'm not an Eagles fan, man. You can miss me with that Eagles Cooper DeJean.
Okay.
52-year-old dunking outside. It's got to be impressive.
Gonna go Allen.
Hey, definitely creative, but I'm a Coop guy. Hey, that gym, a historical gym in Philadelphia, Girard College. Hey, that was very impressive. The pass was impressive, too. Let's get some to Saquon.
That was Saquon.
With Jay, he doesn't pass.
Jay Will is hysterical.
Alan, you're looking like Casper out there, man. We got to get a tan.
Listen, that was in, when was that, June? You see how much I work? I don't get enough sun. I got to wait till August for that.
So there's Allen.
Oh, we don't need to. No, I thought we burned this tape. No, we were supposed to burn this. Listen, the elevator gets up only once a day. Only once.
Behind the floor only once, huh?
Oh, I tell you, if I had $1 for every time I've just thrown one down like that, it's such a great feeling. Anyway, I'm impressed. I'm impressed no matter how it worked out. Coming up, did you see the pictures?